rotational pattern. Really popular hitters. This rotational pattern kind of took over in Major League Baseball for a while. And the reason rotational pattern took over is that metrics started really to play a big role in baseball. And so basically Major League Baseball right now, and it's still kind of evolving, Major League Baseball is have really good starting pitching and just wait for the 3-run home. Wait for the 3-run home. So then what is every major leaguer trying to do? 1 through 9, what's every major leaguer trying to do? Leave the yard. They're trying to leave the yard. Okay? So when they're sitting there, when you look at a contract like Giancarlo Stanton, who's making almost $300 million a year, but Giancarlo Stanton's going to hit 240. 240, 250, but Giancarlo Stanton's also going to drop, if he's healthy, he's going to hit anywhere between 30 to 40 home runs. And of those 30 to 40 home runs, you hope that half of them are 3-run home runs. And if half of them are 3-run home runs, then you could say, the Yankees will say, we'll take those odds because that means 15 wins. That's 15 wins. Because in Major League Baseball, it's a race to a magic number of how many wins you can achieve as a program. How many wins you can achieve as a program to get to the playoffs, to get to the postseason. And then your starting pitching takes over. Okay? Unless you're stealing signs, then it's a different ball. Sorry, I'm an Astros fan, by the way, so I can say that. I can own it. So a rotational pattern. So everybody understands this. Okay? I'm going to be linear, and I'm going to push my hands to the baseball. Here's a common one. Take the knob to the ball. Take the knob to the ball. How many of you guys have heard that one before? Okay? In theory, it makes sense. In reality, it's not correct. You don't take your knob to the baseball. Because if you take your knob to the baseball, you're pushing your hands. Now, you don't have to agree with this. But this is just my philosophy. This is what I believe. After years of studying elite hitters in Major League Baseball and what their body is doing. Okay? Rotational pattern. Rotational pattern is this front elbow is going to hinge. It's going to hinge up. We're going to get slotted. If you guys ever heard slotted, get slotted. Hey, you got to get slotted. Okay? So you get slotted, and then what do? You turn. Okay? So the arc of a rotational pattern, the bat arc, barrel arc, is going to look more like this. Okay? A push pattern is going to look more like this. Okay? So my arc is here, my bat path is here, and then it leaves the zone. My rotational pattern is I'm out of the zone, I'm in the zone, I'm out of the zone. It's a little bit longer. However, the rotational pattern does mean you're probably going to hit more fly balls. So a linear pattern means ground balls. A rotational pattern means fly balls. But we understand why a rotational pattern happens, because Major League Baseball, what do they want? They want the 3-run home run. All right? So let's get into an elite pattern. All right? What we believe in terms of an elite pattern, and a lot of it has to start with, in my opinion, it's all legs. It starts with the legs, and it works what we call a kinetic chain all the way up the body. All right? So one of the first things that we talk about in terms of an elite pattern, and this is something we try to break our kids up. When we get new kids coming in, we got a whole bunch of freshmen, and even still sophomores that are trying to get out of this bad habit of going back to go forward. We don't want to go back to go forward. Okay? The reason we don't want to go back to go forward is because what happens is my knee, when it gets outside my foot, I basically have lost all athleticism. Okay? So if we say, how many of you guys have done this drill right here? A handful of you? A couple of you? You don't have to be shy. We're not judging. Nobody's judging anybody here today. Okay? This is, as a kid, all day. If you're not hitting in the cage, hey, get out there. Squash the bug. Rotate, turn. Okay? Well, that's fine. I can do that all day. But if my knee gets outside my foot, then I've lost all athleticism. Okay? Because what I want is I want 100% of my foot. I want 100% of my foot. I want it in the ground. And I want my knee inside my foot. Just like this. This allows me to be athletic. Okay? So one of the first things we look at a kid is we try to get them to keep from going back to go forward. Instead, we have them get in the box, just a basic lateral stance. And we tell them, get your knees between your feet, and I want to feel your groin, I want you to feel your groin, and I want you to feel your glutes in terms of what's happening. Okay? It's no different than defend playing defense on basketball. Get into a stance. Okay? Give me a stance. And then from a stance, all you have to do is just take your foot off the brake and go. That's it. Some guys do it different. Okay? Josh Donaldson. All right? Jose Altuve. Ryan Braun. It's different. It's all about style. It's whatever they feel puts them in a good place to strike the baseball. Okay? So, we're here. We've got our feet inside. We've got our weight inside our feet. And we're going back to go forward. The next component that we have to work on is we have to work on that front foot. Okay? Coach used to tell me, my coach used to tell me, check the temperature. Hey, just check the temperature of the water. Just dip your foot in, check the temperature of the water. Henry, can you come here please for a second? All right, Henry. Check the temperature for me. Do you want to bat? Do you want to bat your hand? It just feels right. Just baseball players need to bat your hand. Okay. All right. So just check the temperature. All right. So Henry's checking the temperature. Now Henry's trying to avoid using bad mechanics right now because I've hammered Henry for so long about this. Let's go ahead and just there. Okay. So this is a pretty familiar picture. This is a pretty familiar position. All right, Henry. So now, Henry, stop. Okay? It's pretty hard. Right? Now give me good force. Give me good force in that leg. Okay? Now, stop. Okay? He's not going anywhere. Alright? So what we try to talk to our players about is we don't go back to go forward. We just go. Okay? Just go and get into an elite stance. Thank you. Alright? So Henry is in the inside part of this foot right here. He's got his foot, he's got his knee stacked on his heel, he's got his foot in front of his knee. Now, preferably, I would like to see that heel, move that heel up a little bit. I'd like to see a little bit more of this right here. Okay? This is strong. This quad is flexed. Now, what's activated is his glute and his hamstring. These are tight. This is his power muscles. This is where power comes from. When I evaluate players, this is going to sound weird. When a new player comes into our program, and I don't want this to sound weird, one of the first things I look at is their butt. And the reason I look at their butt is because if they've got a nice, big, high butt, that's all right, you can laugh, and they've got a chance. They got a chance to hit the ball really hard. If they've got skinny, flat, no butt, like our backup third baseman right now, then you know what I'm talking about. Then no chance for power. Okay? So this kid's going to be, we're going to bump this kid. Alright? Until this kid decides he's going to commit to the weight room and get bigger. Henry clearly has committed to the weight room. Henry's a beast. Okay? So he's strong on that front side. Now, in an elite pattern, the third thing that we talk to them about is hip to shoulder separation. So what you can see here is as Henry starts to just turn, just give me a little turn here. As Henry starts to turn, just stop. Stay right there. Hold that position again. As Henry starts to turn, what he's creating is front hip separation from his right shoulder. That is hip to shoulder separation. Where do you feel the tension, Henry? It's all in here. Okay? He feels all the tension, building that energy, building all in his core. And then from this position, this is what I believe to be the hardest part of hitting the elite mechanics. Is Henry's going to take his bicep, he's going to externally rotate his bicep, and you can see his barrel starts to get on plane, and then as he starts to finish his swing, his barrel drags, and he creates barrel direction through the center of the cage, or through the center of the field. That more or less is elite mechanics. There's no pushing, there's no talking about, hey, take the knob to the ball. There's no conversation in terms of squash the bug. We don't even mention Henry's back foot. Everybody kinesthetically is different, and their back foot is going to be different. I've seen Vladimir Guerrero, one of the greatest bad ball hitters in the history of Major League Baseball. Vladimir Guerrero, his back foot, when he swings, is just like that. Every time. Just like that. Jose Altuve, when he swings, his back foot goes like this. Every single time. And those guys are pretty good hitters. So, to think that like everybody finishes like this, it's not correct. Spend less time worrying about what the back foot's doing and pay attention to what we call force vertex. Make sure that their force vertex is pointing in the right direction. So my force vertex is, what force vertex is the ankle to the knee. This right here. So if this is pointing, it's like a sprinter. If I want to go that direction and I'm a sprinter, okay, so which way is my force vertex pointing? It's pointing that direction, right? If I want to go up and get a rebound, which way is my force vertex pointing? It's pointing up and down. Okay? If my force vertex is here and here, what chance do I have to athletically strike this baseball? Every time I hit, if I'm thinking about pushing my hands or if I'm thinking about rotating, every time I hit, it's just pure either luck or athleticism. And some people just naturally have a gift. God reached out and touched them and said, you're going to be a baseball player. And their swing just works. Okay? So what we're going to talk about today, what else we're going to do, is we're going to show you some drills that you can do to train some of these things. Very simple. Very simple drills. We're going to do it from right here. We'll start with Henry. Do you have a bat? Do you have a bat? Yep. This may be where you want to start. So the first drill that we're going to do is we're going to do a thing called a torque drill. Now when we're in the tee, when we're on the tee, you guys can watch ball flight too. Matt, you want to zoom here? One thing that we struggle with in our indoor facility is that we don't get to use ball flight as much. So we have to have good weather. We go outside and we hit tees with natural ball flight. We hit tees on the field. We want to see ball flight. We don't put them in the cage. We don't put them next to a cage and hit here because we can't see ball flight. We're guessing. We're guessing whether the swing is working because the baseball tells us everything we need to know. Henry, get to the torque position. Yep. So what Henry's going to do here, bring your left foot forward. There you go, right there. What Henry's going to do here is you can see his toes are pointed in that direction. Now with his toes being pointed in this direction, go ahead and get hip to shoulder separation, get slotted. So Henry's already slotted. So Henry's already in a position. So when we train the swing, we train backwards. We don't train from start to finish. We train from finish to start. So we always train backwards. Even in pitching, we always train backwards. Because a lot of times you spend so much time, you forget that last 10%, that last 15, 20% of whatever it is that you're doing. Okay? So Henry's in a torque position, and then from this position, he's thinking he's going to finish his hips by straightening his legs, maintaining separation, and he's trying to drive the ball through the center of the cage. All right, Henry, you want to give us some reps here? He may not need one, so. Not bad. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking for ball flight through the center of the cage. Hold up. One thing, when we set the ball up, we always set the ball up 2 seams, just like this, because we want to pick a seam. We want to pick a seam and hit a seam. Okay? Boom. Excellent. Henry's pretty good at this. Okay? Questions on that? Now, is this how we hit? I mean, is this how we swing? Like, can we get in the box and go like this? No. This is a drill that we do in order to help teach us what we talk about in terms of hip to shoulder separation and allowing us to finish our swing. Okay? Another thing, the second drill. Ben, let's have you swing, please. The next thing that we do is called halfway hump. Okay? Now keep in mind, any of these drills, you can do any of these drills on a tee. You can do any of these drills on short toss, you can do any of these drills on short flip, and you can do any of these drills in normal batting practice setting. Okay? And we're going to get to that here in a minute. So now what Ben's going to show, Ben's not very good at this. Okay? Ben's got to work on this. But he's working. He's putting in the time to do this. I think we were hitting how late last night? So we were, after practice, we were working on 7s. That's 7s all on this stuff. Till it got dark. Okay? So Ben gets us halfway home. So what Ben's going to put us in is he's going to put us in this post-stride position where I've got heel-toe connection. I'm sunk in, I'm in that position, and I'm here in a good athletic position. I got my knob pointed back to the catcher. And what Ben is going to work on is Ben is trying to think about, as he turns, the barrel, or the bicep, externally rotates, just like this. Okay? Everybody understands what external rotation is, right? If I throw, when I turn to throw, the ball gets behind my elbow, gets behind my face. That's called external rotation. Got it? Your arm, when you hit, is going to do the exact same thing. Okay? Ben, go ahead and do what you were doing last night, where it started to feel like it was coming together for you. So get to that post-strike position. You're already preset. Give me the three pumps and then go like you were doing. What you're trying to do. No. I'm not for the strike. I want post strike. I want you already strike. You're already here. There you go. Okay. See this move right here? This is ideal. That's what we want. Do it again. Okay. Stop. Do it and hold. Do it and stick. Okay. What position is he in now? What did Henry just do? What was that drill? Torque. Oops. So the position that we just had Henry in, Ben is now there, but he's from a foot strike position. So go back to foot strike. Okay. So he's in foot strike. There. Now he is doing he's creating what I believe to be the absolute key to an elite swing. He's creating swing depth, because when he starts his swing, go slow with your swing here. It gets slotted. Okay. Now what happens as he starts to turn, turn. Stop. His barrel is now in the hitting zone. Hold that spot right there. Back. When I was doing the push pattern, when does my barrel get into the hitting zone? There. Okay? Do we see the difference? I don't have a plate here. My barrel is in the hitting zone way too late. His barrel is in the hitting zone behind the plate. So when I look at Ben and I say, Ben, let the ball get deep. Can he let the ball get deep? Yes, he can. Because he's getting his barrel on path back here, and then he's going to go rotational, and he's going to swing. Okay? Ben, do it one more time. 3 pumps. Give me 3 pumps. Boom. Barrel direction. Ben really struggles with this. Good. Another drill that we do too, with this, if we're in the cage, working the cage, this is a little tip for you guys. You guys have cages down at Klein Scott, you can use those cages, and you can do this too. Okay, so we'll put the tee right there, put the Elster right there, we'll say, Ben, this is your window. Hit through this window, right here. Hold on, wait a minute. Oh, there it is. So now he has a visual. He has something that he can train, that he can figure out and says, okay, so now I understand this. So this is what we do because we don't have this. If we had this out of Klein Scott, we would say, forget that. Like, dude, just get there. Like, hit the ball there. All right? Go a couple more reps, man. Alright, the next thing that we do, the third very simple drill that we do is what we call start, stop, go. Start, stop, go. You know what we're doing. Okay. So Henry's he's in his normal stance. This is his normal batting stance. When Henry gets in the box, this is his ready to bomb stance. Okay? Start, stop, go. Okay. Good. Good ball flight. Okay. Henry, can you go start and stop and get to the position for me? Good. No go. Okay. So we got to this position. How did he get to this position? his hands never moved. His hands never moved. What he did is what we call, walk away from your hands. Walk away from your hands. Okay? A good way to teach that for small children, or for young hitters. Well, heck, some of my hitters need to do this. You can relax. We put our knuckles together like this. We tell them to get in their stance. And then we tell them, go. We want this fist to stay there. Now what will happen when this move happens is you think about, like, my back elbow is going back. Okay? It's moving behind my body. And as this moves behind my body, this creates what we call a scapula. Like, this is my scapula, and my scapula is going to load. All right? When this thing loads, what it creates is it creates a tremendous amount of velocity in recoil and response to what our body needs to do. So we do this. If guys are standing outside the cage and they really struggle getting separation, we put them here, and we make them do this. Just all the time, until it becomes a habit. The next step is we make them put their arms out like this. We make them get their hands behind their back. Okay? Those are very, very easy drills. You know, if the kids can take a break from Fortnite, get some reps in, it'll be great for them. Are you ready? Let's do a couple more starts and stops. Alright, flush it. Let's go. "221 feet off the tee." That's pretty good, guys. You can't feel that one. Just get through the window. There it is. Okay, so you can see ball flight's a little bit different. Okay, even though it's only 196, his ball flight is moving. Go ahead. Okay, so what we notice there, so if we do something like that, instantly we know we have a checkpoint. Okay? And they've been getting film of Henry doing, have you been getting film on this? No. Okay, it's alright. So, if we were here in this facility, what we could have done in that rep is I could be standing right there, critiquing Henry on start and stop, and I could say, whoa, 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 let's look at the film on that real quick. And what we're probably going to find in the film, can you show me a leak? Yeah. So Henry's going to start, stop, okay? And what happened is that instead of the swing starting to generate from here,